Hey boys, welcome back to the channel, and it's going to be an exciting video. The football is back, boys. The footy is back. When I upload this video, which will be tomorrow, which is Wednesday, it's going to be one day until the footy is on Thursday night. Broncos v the Eels. So I'm gonna just go through, and I'm gonna make this a consistent thing. I'm gonna do a tips and a preview on probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll upload the video, or maybe Thursday morning. And then after the rounds, I'll do like a weekly wrap up and discussion video. So yeah, I want to get more, into that sort of real life stuff. So Broncos v the Eels Thursday night, the grudge match after last year. But obviously a couple of big omissions for both teams, or one for the Eels, which is Nathan Brown being suspended. Other than that, they're full strength. They're a very strong team from fullback to bench. They are a very, very, very strong outfit. It's going to be a tough one. On the flip side, the Broncos, a couple of very big omissions, with David Fafita gone for could be a while, and then Tavita Pangai Jr. still suspended. So that is a couple of massive losses, a couple of huge just attacking options gone. But they do get back Alex Glenn, who is one of my favorite players. He's the captain, very underrated attack and defense. He just provides so much stability in the Broncos team. I just love him as a player. And the other one, he's in the 21, Matthew Lodge. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back, but I guess I don't know. When I'm making this video, I don't know yet. So he may or may not. I think if my money was on it, I would probably say he will come back, and that will be a huge boon as well for the Bronx. So, they're still going to have a very, very strong team. I mean, Thomas Flegler started the season on fire. Payne Haas, likewise, obviously. Paddy Carrigan, up-and-coming star. And I guess the other big one to talk about is McCulloch is gone, which I actually, I always like McCulloch as a Bronco. He did some great things for the club. But I got to be honest, Jake Turpin, I was happy that he got the spot to start the year, and I think he should be out there for the full 80. I think McCulloch on the bench was just sort of a wasted spot. And I think it's better. It's better for both parties. I mean, McCulloch isn't a bench warmer, and Turpin, he should be an 80-minute dummy half. So I think it works out better for everyone involved. I still don't know why. I wish Herbie Farnworth got the wing spot over Jesse Arthurs. I like Jesse Arthurs. I think he's a solid player, but I mean, Herbie Farnworth is an absolute gun. He's a freak. He's a superstar, dude. So I don't know why he's not getting the spot, but he is on the bench to provide a bit of spark, I guess. But I am a Broncos supporter, so my tips here are going to be pretty biased. I'm going to tip the Broncos in a tight one, although both these teams, it could be a flogging either way. It's going to be interesting. I think they're even money on the odds, so yeah, I don't know. This one's a tough one. It's a tough one for me to sort of back either way, because I'm a Broncos fan, so I'm gonna tip the Broncos usually every time. So, but yeah, it's a tough first encounter for both teams, really. After this long extended break, it's going to be a matter of who comes out better, who's come out fresher, who's come out fitter, who's been training, who's been not. It's gonna come down to that. So yeah, both teams on paper very, very strong, but I am tipping the Broncos in this encounter. Next up, we have the Cowboys v the Titans. Now, a couple of big omissions for the Cowboys here, with Michael Morgan being out, which means a reshuffle here. Scotty Drinkwater moves to 5'8", and Jake Clifford comes into Michael Morgan's halfback spot. Now, I actually think this is pretty good for the Cowboys. I'm not saying the Cowboys are better with Morgan not being there, but Morgan he's been underwhelming. He's been out of sorts. He's been a bit out of confidence for a while now. And Jake Clifford played very, very good footy at the end of last year, and a lot of people thought he'd get the spot over Drinkwater. And actually, a lot of people thought Drinkwater would be a fullback, and Clifford would be in the halves with Morgan. So there was stiff competition there because Clifford played so well, and I think Morgan being out of bit of confidence. Obviously he's injured, that's why he's not there. But I think it's a very handy sort of replacement. Clifford can control the game, and Drinkwater can do what he does best and just run the footy. Heads up player, very very solid. And then the rest of it, I mean, Gavin Cooper is out, but I actually really like Mitchell Dunn. He's got good footwork. He's got good. He's played a lot of halves in his youth, so he's got a good kicking game. He's got a good passing game. He's just he's an all-round talented young kid coming through. So again, I don't think they lose too much with Cooper being out, and then the rest of the team is unchanged and very, very strong. I know a lot of people giving Valentine Holmes flack. I don't know why. I think Valentine was looking pretty darn good at fullback. And I think he'll do a great job this year for them. But on the bench, dude, I was looking at the bench before, and they have a very strong bench. Reece Robson, absolute star of the future. John Asiata, just skillful, up the intensity. Francis Molo, one of my favorite players, just an absolute tearaway. He's a freak. He's a scary dude, man. He's a scary dude. I love watching him play. And then Shane Wright, just a very solid back row as well. I wouldn't be surprised actually if Shane Wright starts in front of Mitchell Dunn, and Mitchell Dunn maybe comes off the bench potentially, but we'll see what happens there. And then on the flip side, a couple of big changes here with obviously Tyron Roberts filling in for AJ Brimson, which is a massive loss, and I'm very sad that Brimson has, suffered such a bad injury, because again, he's one of my favorite players. I love watching him. He puts everything into it, and I mean, he's a future. If he can get back and stay fit, like he's a player that can see the Titans to some good eras for sure. He's a great kid. But, Tyron Roberts fills in. And I think, fullback, I think, is a decent spot for Tyron Roberts. I definitely think they are weaker without Brimson, but I think it's a handy fill-in. I actually thought Philip Semi would go there. But looking at the halves, this is quite a mix-up. They've put Ash Taylor to 5'8", which is, I actually think is probably good for Taylor. He doesn't have to solely think about running the ship and controlling the game. He can be a little bit more ad-lib. He can see what's in front of him, take the line on, because he's a very skillful player. He's a very skillful player. So I actually like that. And Jamal Fogarty back in the Titans colours. I really like Jamal Fogarty. I'm surprised he hasn't made what is the word I'm thinking of? Impression? Is that the word I'm thinking of? Impression? It probably is, dude. I was like, is there another one? Impression. But I'm surprised he hasn't made an impression on on the NRL yet, because I watched him so many years at Queensland Cup level, and he was far and away like the best player on the field like every week. And he signed with the Eels, I think. And he might have played like 1, maybe 2 games for them, but I think, he didn't really get an opportunity there. And he's back at the Titans. I think there's a great chance for him to really snatch a role, because he's a really good player. He's very quick, very dangerous ball runner. He's got a very good kicking game. He's tough. Yeah, I just love Jamal Fogarty, so I really hope he does well. And then the rest of their team, it's decent. I think the forward pack is okay. Fodawaker obviously is standout with Jai Arrow. I think the back row is very weak. Kevin Proctor, I really do not like. I don't know why he's captain, but I'm not a fan of Proctor. Keegan Hipgrave he's okay, but I'm not a huge fan. And then the bench is not great, but they do have Jared Wallace, and Shannon Boyd is finally back. So they got a couple of very good experienced players who obviously have been underperforming, but potential-wise, they've got a lot of potential in them. So I am tipping the Cowboys to win this quite comfortably, but, the Titans on paper, I like what they've done. I like Fogarty. I like Taylor there. and I think Tyron Roberts could work well as fullback. So we'll see what happens there. But I am tipping the Cowboys in a not a huge win, but I think they'll win comfortably in this one. As we move on to the big Friday blockbuster, Rabbitohs v the Roosters, and I'm going to say straight away, I'm backing the Roosters to win this, and honestly win it well. I'm thinking the Roosters are going to win comfortably in this game. I have some concerns about the Rabbitohs, dude. I think they're going to struggle a lot, not only in this game, but in the future as well. But a couple of big omissions. Obviously, Cody Walker is suspended. Hame Sele is injured. I think he got a small injury, nothing too major, but he's out injured. But obviously the Cody Walker one is huge, and also the other omission doesn't have here, but James Roberts is out. Well, I think that I don't know. I think there's still potential that he might come in. I don't know. I can't see how Roberts could play after what had happened, but I guess we'll see if he does. I don't think he will, but there's always a potential he might. But yeah, I just... I mean, Latrell Mitchell at fullback, and I don't hate Latrell Mitchell, but I don't think he's... At the moment, he's not ready to be the fullback, dude. I mean, it showed in the first couple of rounds that he wasn't fit enough to play there. And I don't know how he's going to come back after this break, dude. I don't know. Maybe he's been training the house down and staying fit, but I sort of have a few doubts that he will have been doing that. So Mitchell at fullback still. Alex Johnson obviously comes onto the wing. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they just switch Mitchell with like Campbell Graham, or even they shuffle it up completely and put Johnson at fullback, Mitchell back to centers, and Campbell Graham to the wing. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if before kickoff they do that. And then looking at the team, I mean, the Roosters, the Rabbitohs still have a decent forward pack for sure. I still don't, I'm not Wayne Bennett. He knows a lot more about the game than me, but I still don't really think Cameron Murray should be at second row. I think him at lock is so much better for the team. Like, the biggest danger for the Rabbits is Damien Cook, our dummy half. And it was pretty much always on the back of Cameron Murray. Cameron Murray got a quick play the ball, Damien Cook took off, and that got the sets rolling. Cameron Murray on the edge, he can get a quick play the ball, but it doesn't really favour Cook that much, because a lot of times out on the edge, the dummy half isn't going to be right in amongst it to really capitalise. But up the ruck, that's the big advantage. So I still think Liam Knight at front row, Cameron Murray to lock, and Ethan Lowe into the back row or someone else. But like I said, Wayne Bennett knows a lot more about football than me, so it could work. It could work at the end of the day. But I'm just looking at like the Roosters team. They're pretty much unchanged. Have they got anyone out? Ikevalu and Orbison. I mean, they're full strength, dude. They're full strength, and obviously they're 9-2. They need to win this game, and they're going to. They're going to win it easily, honestly. I don't know why Takeaho is in the reserves. That's very strange. Was Takeaho injured? Am I losing my mind? Why is he not in the team? He's one of the best props in the world. Was he injured? I'm losing it. Why is Takeaho not in the team? He must have had an injury or something, but yeah, other than that, like they're gonna win. The Roosters are gonna win comfortably. So we'll move on from that one. We have the Warriors v the Dragons in a 3 p.m. game on a Saturday. And I'll talk about obviously it's way tougher for the Warriors this year. Out of every team, like, it's far and away disadvantaged the Warriors, because they have to stay in Australia. They don't get to go home. They don't get the home advantage. There's a lot of things that are very, very tough. And obviously now with the injuries that they have sustained, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Warriors. I wouldn't be surprised if the first 3 or 4 rounds they come out fired up and they play some of their best footy. But I think they're going to have a very tough year, and I am tipping the Warriors to get the wooden spoon. But, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and play well in the first few games. But yeah, I'm tipping the Dragons. I'm tipping the Dragons because, the injuries they have. Here it says Leeson Armour. Fusatua is also out, which I didn't actually know, but Adam Kieran is out, and then also Jazz Tavanga, who was already out to start the year, but he then suffered a more serious injury, which is terrible news. They still, looking at the back line, it's still a pretty good back line. Tuivasa-Sheck, Patrick Herbert. Patrick Herbert. I don't know why that sounds so funny to me. I'm saying it weird. Peter Hiku, Jared Beal, Kemamalo, and Cody Nikorima. It's honest, and Blake Green. It's honestly not a bad back line, but I think the forward pack is where they're gonna struggle the most because they got so many good players out. Wade Egan comes into dummy half, who I think is an okay player, but I don't think he's really NRL quality. I think he's a good backup dummy half, but not a standout. They got a couple of good young players. Tanua Brown. I am surprised Alisi Katoa is on the bench. I'm surprised he's not starting in the back row because he is an absolute gun. He is so good, dude. Just an absolute monster. But yeah, they're just, on paper, it's not a terrible team, but I just don't see them. I just don't see them competing with the best sides, and I don't think the Dragons are going to be one of the best teams, but I think they're going to win this game pretty comfortably. I think Cameron McInnes comes back in, which is a huge plus. Corbin Sims is back in. I think Tarek Sims was out for the first couple of rounds, was he? But he's back in. James Graham moves to lock. Frizzell Vaughan. Look at that forward pack, dude. That's a very good forward pack. And then the bench, Josh Kerr, Laurie, Fui Ma'ano, Ewan Aiken. Bit of a weird one, but I'm tipping the Dragons here. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised with an upset. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors come out in the first few rounds and fire up and just play some great footy. But yeah, I'm still tipping the Dragons in that one. And we'll look at the next game, the Sharks Tigers, and there's obviously. Oh no, they haven't. I was going to say they're going to have to get rid of Bronson Sherry, but he wasn't in the team because he was injured. That's right. But in this game, this is a tough one. Honestly, they still have. Dugan comes back. But he's not a fullback. William Kennedy remains at spot, and then because obviously Matty Moylan is still out. But other than that, they're pretty much full strength. They got a good forward. Again, the Sharks on paper. Look at the forward pack, dude. Fafita, Woods. I'm not a fan of Woods, but he can do some good things. Britton Nakora, Wade Graham, Jack Williams. And then the bench of Braden Hamlin, Ueli, absolute monster. Toby Rudolph played very good. Scott Sorensen is solid. Connor Tracy has got some spark. I don't mind the Sharks have a decent team. I think their backline is a bit weak. I really like Ronaldo Mulatalo, Jesse Ramian, and even Sione Katoa and Josh honestly, their backline's pretty good as well. And then the Tigers, Corey Thompson, Elijah Taylor are out, but they're pretty much full strength as well. Harry Grant comes in as a starting dummy half. Who have they got? I actually haven't looked here. So yeah, Billy Walters is on the bench. So Josh Reynolds is the one to miss out there. But their bench, their bench is okay, but it's definitely not the quality of the Sharks. It definitely doesn't have the X factor. They got some, Luciano Leilua has been in solid form. Alex Twal has been killing it. McKaylee is really coming on. Harry Grant. I mean, Harry Grant is yet to really. We have no idea how he's going to perform at NRL level, but he's an absolute weapon, dude. So it won't surprise me if he kills it. Luke Brooks comes back into the number 7. So this is a tough one. Honestly, I'm gonna tip the Sharks in this one. This is a real tough game, but I'm gonna tip the Sharkies in a tight one. I think they have the better team. I actually think they have the better team on paper, and I think they've just got a little bit more in them. The Tigers, I mean, I do love the Nofaluma Leilua for sure, but and Mbai is back as well. I mean, they're full strength, dude. They're absolutely full strength. But I'm gonna tip the Sharkies. I guess they are gonna be in a little bit of turmoil with the results of Bronson Sherry, but I think they're gonna turn up. I think they're gonna turn up the Sharks. So we'll tip the Sharks in that game there. Now we have the big game here: the Storm v Raiders, 7:35 Saturday night, and yeah, this is gonna be quite the game. I'll say straight away, I'm tipping the Storm. I think if any team is going to come out and play at their basic best, it's the Storm. You know, they're such a professional team that I just can't see the Storm coming out and being really sloppy, really scrappy, even after this extended break. I can just see them coming out and just playing solid. Don't get me wrong, I mean, the Raiders could do the same thing, but I think, you know, the Raiders might have more potential to potentially have a little bit more, you know, negatives involved. They could be a little bit down. I just can't see the Storm. I can't see the Storm losing, honestly. Their forward pack, Brandon Smith is back. Just Christian Welch, he's back as well. Or was it? Yeah, he's back as well, dude. That's a huge plus. So, yeah, the Storm, very, very strong. Looking at the Raiders, they actually do have John Rapana on the bench with what's his face? Bailey Simonson retaining the wing spot, which is a little bit surprising, but I think, honestly, Simonson deserves a spot. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a late shuffle and Simonson goes to the bench, but yeah, it's going to be a great game, but I'm tipping the Storm. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I can't not tip the Storm here. I just think they're going to be too professional about this and get a good solid victory. Actually, no, sorry. I was talking about Rapana. He's not even in the team. He's number 18. Michael Oldfield is the utility, which is a little bit strange. Bit weird, but that could change. I don't know. This team could definitely change by Saturday for sure. But yeah, tipping the Storm here without a doubt. Now we have the Panthers v the Knights. So one huge omission is Nathan Cleary is gone, but also for the poor old Knights, Kalen Ponga is gone, suspended. Mitchell Barnett and Jane Brayley. So it evens it out a bit, but I mean, I do love Tex Hoy. He's got a lot of talent. Bradman Best is also back, but he's not in the team, so I don't know. This team could change a lot as well, because I mean, Bradman Best was always tipped to be one of the starting centers, and I mean, Shibazaki was pretty good. Nara Tuala, I really don't like that much, so I wouldn't be surprised if Best takes Tuala's spot. I thought Kurt Mann has been very solid at 5'8" with Mitchell Pearce. The forward pack, Connor Watson comes into number 9, which Jane Brayley is a huge loss, but Connor Watson, much different player, but he is an absolute X factor out of dummy half. Very, very dangerous for sure. And obviously, yeah, what they say, McCulloch is just getting rested for this game, I think. But on the flip, I mean, the Panthers have a very good forward pack. I mean, Api Coruscant, probably the best signing for 2020, I would say. I mean, we'll see at the end of the year how he goes, but I was like, that is a very good signing for the Panthers, and he's shown his quality early on. But without Cleary, I don't know. I mean, Matt Burton showed a lot of potential when he played, but Jerome Luai really isn't up. I mean, he's a good player, Luai, but he's not really up to the level of controlling. And Matt Burton, although he looked really solid, it's going to be a lot more pressure on him in this game for sure. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. Caleb Akins is still there with Dylan Edwards still being out. But the forward packs. I mean, the Panthers, obviously Kurt Capewell is a very good signing. I actually think the Panthers probably have a stronger forward pack. I don't know. It's honestly, both these packs are strong, dude. I mean, Tamo, Clemmer. I'd probably go Clemmer, Coruscant, Watson. I would just go Coruscant, Fisher, Harris, Saifidi. I'd go Fisher, Harris. Kickout, Fitzgibbon. I'd go Kickout, Capewell, Mataudia. Honestly, pretty even. SASA and Yo. Very different players, but very tight. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to tip the Knights in this one, but this is a toss-up as well. This is a 50-50 game. And again, like, it comes down to who's trained the best since being away. Like, yeah, it's going to be a tough one for sure. This is a tough one to pick. I'm struggling, dude. And then the benches are pretty solid each. Some good players on each bench there. But yeah, I'm just gonna tip the Knights because they got Mitchell Pearce. I'm not the biggest fan of Pearce, but also I think he's a bit over analyzed and over criticized. So I think having Pearce there, no other real. On the other side, it's only Burton and Luai. I think Pearce can get them home. And now we have the Bulldogs v the Seagulls. So straight away, I'm tipping the Seagulls, and I think the Seagulls will win pretty comfortably in this one. I think they're pretty much full strength. Tanyela Paseka is back. He comes straight into. Wait, where was he? I know he's on the bench with Kepi, Corey Waddell and Lachlan Croker, Avarillo, Tuamunga, Fatala Mariner, and Ogden. The benches are pretty solid, honestly, but then the forward packs, the Manly forward pack is just far and away better than the Bulldogs pack in my opinion. I mean, the Bulldogs pack is decent. I mean, Dylan Napa, Jackson, Sue is decent. Dean Britt is decent. Adam Elliott, I'm not a huge fan. Nah, honestly, the Seagulls pack is far and away better. And then the back line, again, I think the Seagulls back line is just far and away better. I mean, Tommy Trbojevic is a superstar. Moses Sully's really turned up his game at the Seagulls. Brad Parker, very underrated, but a very solid player. And then obviously Daly Cherry Evans. I think, Cogger and Lachlan Lewis, they're both fine, but I just don't. The Bulldogs just don't have enough points to threaten most teams. They just can't score enough points, even if their defense is like really good. I can see, even if they come out with a huge defensive effort, I can see the Seagulls scoring like 2 tries and the Bulldogs maybe scoring 1, if that. The Bulldogs just don't have enough attack in their game to really worry teams. So yeah, I'm gonna tip the Seagulls and yeah, a pretty dominant victory here. So I think is that all the games? Seagulls Bulldogs was the last one. Yeah, Seagulls Bulldogs. So there you go. There's my round 3 tips and preview. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think. This video has gone on forever. I do love rambling on for sure, but I try to make it quicker than usual, honestly. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Give me your tips, and yeah, footy's back, boys. Get hyped, get excited, and I'll see you guys in the next one.